Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Recently, me and the family, we went hiking, and I noticed that when I was using my GoPro on the end of my tripod leg, that the footage was real shaky. Even though it has in-body stabilization, it's was still really awful. So I decided I needed to purchase a gimbal. So I've done some research. Again, I don't have a whole lot of money to fund all of this with the channel, so what I ended up doing was going to eBay and buying a cheap GoPro gimbal. And that's what we're going to review today, is the Isteady Pro GoPro gimbal. So let me dive down and we will look at everything. Okay, that's installing. I'll set that off to the side. All right, we unzip it. There's the device. Comes with a charging cable, which looks like it's a micro USB charging cable. You get a couple different cables here because when the GoPro is in the cradle, you can supply power to it from the gimbal itself. The gimbal has 3600 milliamp battery. Does come with a tripod adapter. We're going to put that on right quick. There's so how this hooks up is quite simple. Turn my monitor around. I need to be able to see what I'm doing, or see how y'all are looking at things. You slide it in, you tighten up these fittings, these screws back here. And if this works like any other gimbal that I've had, which I've only had one, we want this thing to be pretty free floating. It looks to be that way. The app is not done downloading yet. So let's, on the back of the unit, you have a power button right here. Here we go, let's just do that. We have a power button, we have a joystick, we have a mode selector, and a pan button. Now the app has found a GoPro, or found the gimbal. We're going to click the calibrate, see if we can calibrate it. Alright, now it's telling me I need to fold the gimbal up and place it stationary. Please refer to the picture. Okay, so it wants me to rotate it up like so. Okay. Please refer to the picture. This is a weird calibration process, I must say. There we go. That doesn't look right at all. Maybe it's like this. No, because that needs to be down. It needs to be down Oh, that I see what it's doing. Okay. I think no, I'm not right. That's what they're wanting, I'm guessing. Not a very intuitive calibration process. Okay, it says the calibration is complete. I need to restart the device. Okay. Powered back on. Alright. Calibration's done. Apparently, on the app, you can control it. Disconnect. Okay, I need to reconnect. Yes. Okay, apparently, oops, no, I didn't want to calibrate. You can control the device. Ah. Do I not have that in right? Hmm. Now that's odd. Okay. Recenter. Pan and follow. That'll be nice. We'll be able to go upside down. Let's rotate it back. Okay, I'm in the process of editing this video, and the more I go through the footage, the more aggravated I am becoming. There are issues with this product. There are mainly issues with the software part of it. I could not for the life of me get the app to work properly. Yes, I was able to get the gimbal calibrated after 3 attempts. I just showed you 1 attempt, but after 3 attempts, I finally got it calibrated, and I learned a very valuable lesson. You have to be very careful when you're setting up the gimbal before you turn it on, because if you maneuver those arms in the wrong way, you're going to end up with an upside down GoPro and limited range of motion. That shouldn't happen. Not on a product like this that once you calibrate it, it should stay calibrated until you decide to recalibrate it again. Controlling it with the app worked some of the time, but that's only if you can keep the app connected to the device. I would use it for a few seconds, basically. No longer than I never got the app to work longer than a minute to actually control it. And when half of the features for this thing have to do with using the app, like you can't do your time lapses without the app, you can't do any of the shooting modes without the app, it gets frustrating and aggravating, because some people may be buying this product for those features, and if you can't keep the app connected to the gimbal, then you're not getting all your money's worth out of it. The Wi-Fi connection. Supposedly you can connect this gimbal as a smart remote to the GoPro and be able to stop your videos, change from video mode to photo mode, and take pictures with it and things like that. I never got that feature to work. I didn't show it in here, but I tinkered on that for 25-30 minutes
and it never worked. I still don't understand why. The device feels like it's well built. The motors have good resistance to them when you try to adjust it just a little bit, to the point where I was worried that if I did actually try to tweak them so I could spin the gimbal around to get the GoPro out, I was worried I was going to break the motors, so I stopped. The cheapest part is what holds the GoPro in place. That is a very cheap feeling system, and the tripod feet down at the bottom. They are very, very cheap, and I expect they would break relatively quickly. I really don't want to hate on this product, but I don't know who it's for. I did do the test between ungimbaled GoPro with the in-body stabilization on and the GoPro attached to the gimbal running down the road also. I will put that part of the review in the video right behind this and let you make your decision on that. But I honestly didn't see that much of a difference between the two where it would warrant me lugging this thing around in my gear bag with me. So, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. But I do want you to be able to make a decision based on what you see here, so I will put that in, but I'm not recommending this. Granted, it is a cheap gimbal, and if you're on a budget, you may need a cheap gimbal. I am on a budget, but I still don't think this gimbal is going to be good enough for what I want. If I can't get the full functionality out of it and the app won't stay connected, I couldn't even upgrade the firmware on it. So that brings to question other things. So that's just my 2 cents worth, and you can use that information how you see it. But I do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and hopefully it was informative for you. Okay, let's try this again. This will be the second take for this. We're a few hours later. I'm sitting here in the office analyzing the footage, or fixing to analyze the footage, and I thought I would just do a screen recording and share it all with you and my thoughts all at the same time. On the right hand side, or I'm sorry, the left hand side facing you, as it labeled, GoPro without gimbal, the one with the little puppy dog right here. That was taken yesterday. That video was recorded yesterday, clamped to my bike. The video over here on the other side is the one that we took earlier today on the Munchkin's bike with the gimbal. So I'm going to play this first video, the one without the gimbal, and we're going to look at the footage there and see what we think of it, and we'll switch over to the other one after we watch the first one, and then I'll play both of them together and we can try to see if we can tell a difference. But here's the video without the gimbal first. There's the Munchkin, there's the puppies, and now we're fixing to really go downhill. The in-body stabilization for the GoPro Hero 7 is pretty good. I can't really fault this the in-body stabilization much on this. It looks good other than me whirling my handlebars around back and forth, but that's not the camera's fault. It's following the handlebars. Okay, so we got that. We'll go over here to the stabilized footage now and see how the gimbal does going down the exact same hill. There's actually, I think, some bumps on this side of the road that are a little more than they are on the left-hand side of the road. But as you can see, the gimbal does a really good job also. There's a couple of bumps right there, which I think the gimbal handled really well. Can't really fault the gimbal for having holes in our road. But I'm not 100% sure if it is that much better than the in-body stabilization. So, I mean, it looks good. Let's roll this all the way back and roll the other one all the way back also. Let's try to start them at the same point. Okay. Play that one. I'll play this one. Honestly, it's hard. The gimbal is a little more smooth in this test. Now, this isn't a super scientific test by any means, but what we use gimbals for is to help get us real smooth footage. So, in a direct comparison between the two in this non-scientific test, it looks like the gimbal is a little better, but not that much better. And that's the real question, is if it's worth the price difference. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think about it. I mean, I have it now, so I've already spent the money. Well, you've seen everything. You can use your own judgment on what you thought was better and which ones wasn't. That's all this is really about, is helping you make that decision.